Is this the most stressful video of the whole month? Yes, absolutely it is. This is Pan That Palette. It's Pan That Palette time. I have two Pan That Palettes to update you with today. Both of them are pretty stressful, but honestly, this one, if you've been here for a while, you will know this one I really want done. I just really want this done now. I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, we're okay to part ways. I have two shades left in my Modern Renaissance palette. I've been panning it for 2 years on the run. I would not recommend that. If you're planning on getting into Pan That Palette, do not carry on for 2 years. You will regret your life decisions, just as I am doing right now. But we're plowing through. We have 2 shades left. I do have a whole plan for this. We will talk more about it later on. And also, I have my That's Taupe palette. Now, I introduced this last month. This is a very, very new palette to this project. This is the first update that it is in, and I've loved it. I have loved having a bit of a break from this. I'm going to talk all about it in this video. Let's strap in. I have a lot of thoughts to talk about, but just before we do jump into the video, if you have not already, like and subscribe. I upload every single day here on my YouTube channel, and I love bright, fun, colourful makeup, though today I am definitely a little bit more neutral to go with these palettes. I'm really excited to jump into it, so I'm going to start with Modern Renaissance because it's the one that I'm just annoyed at. Constantly, I'm annoyed at this thing. So as I said, I've been working on this for 2 years nearly now, which don't do it. Don't do it. This was pretty much, I think it was a full palette when I started working on this 2 years ago, and I'm going to put on screen now what this palette looked like last month at the start of September. As you can see, we only had 2 shades left, which was so exciting, and both of these were Franken shades. So Realgar is Realgar mixed with some blues to cool it down a little bit, and then Red Ochre is actually Red Ochre plus Love Letter, and then a few other bits and bobs as well to change the tone. I did this because I was getting so bored with these super warm tone shades. I'm a cool tone girly at heart. I absolutely love my cool tones, so trying to pan super bright saturated warm tones just was not fun for me. And this is what the palette looks like today. I'm hoping you're going to be able to see some usage on Realgar. I have actually worked really hard on Realgar this month. I feel like I've got a pretty good amount of progress. I'm not near to pan yet, but honestly, I think in a few more uses, I'll be able to hit pan on this. And then Red Ochre, I'm going to say it now, I've not used this at all. I do have a plan for it though, so let's talk about that now. Here it is. Here she is, the problem child. The child that causes a nuisance everywhere she goes. It's Modern Renaissance. So Red Ochre / Love Letter / a few other bits and bobs. I have not used it at all. I have a plan though, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Let me reach over. This Beauty Bay Compact houses a few other shades from Modern Renaissance, franking together to make a blush. So what I'm going to do is, once Realgar is finished, I'm going to franken what is left of Love Letter and Red Ochre into this, and then use this up as a blush next year. I'm not doing it yet. I'm not. I need a break from this. So I'm really not worried that I haven't used this red shade. It is not for me. It is not something that I love wearing. As I said, I'm a much more cool tone lover. So I'm good just leaving that alone until I can franken it into here and hopefully finish up next year. This has Raw Sienna. What else does it have? Venetian Red. That's it. Venetian Red and Raw Sienna are in here. So after this is finished, this palette will be completely gone. So 0 uses on that shade, which is fine. I understand. I have a plan. Let's move on to Realgar. So Realgar plus some blues, some bits and bobs to cool it down. This was a vibrant orange shade, not what I choose to wear at all. But this is actually a really nice bronzer shade. I've been using it as a bronzer every now and then, and today I actually have it as a transition shade, and I really like it. It's not red orange. It's not like super in your face. It's a very nice neutral shade. It's not crazy, and I really like that. It was crazy before. Before, it was nuts. Now, very toned down. I like that. I can't deal with oranges anymore. But I'm hoping you can see it definitely has a big dip in this, and I really don't think it's going to take that long to finish. I think by the end of the year, this will be finished, and that is my goal. I am not planning on touching this other shade at all. I'm just planning on trying to finish what is left of Realgar and try and get that done. So let's talk usage. So this month, I've not used this one at all, like I said. So that means that we have used it a total of 114 uses in the past 2 years. And then Realgar, I have used this 9 times this month for a total of 162 uses. Yeah, you heard that right. That is so much use, and I don't really blame myself for getting really bored and fed up with it, because it's a hell of a lot of use. I feel a lot happier now that I've Frankened it with some things. I've changed the colour of it a little bit, and I feel a lot more happy now that I've done that. I feel like it's changed to a point where I can use it every day. I feel comfortable using it every day. But now let's talk weights. Honestly, as if this palette didn't annoy me enough, the weights of this are ridiculous. So last month we went up 0.44 grams last month. I thought that was due to like frankening, maybe adding a few little bits. So I thought, you know what, that's fine. So last month we were at 177.74 grams. This month, 178.05 grams. So we're nearly at where we started at the start of the year. I've not added anything this month. I've only used it. And I don't understand. We started the year at 178.40. So we're like 0.3 away from being exactly where we started with 2 extra shades. I don't understand how that happens. I'm sorry, I have no idea. I'm just gonna move past it because the weights of this annoy me so much. So I'm gonna move on. That is what Modern Renaissance looks like. Slowly but surely, we are finishing this shade. This is the only shade I'm gonna focus on from now till the end of the year. I don't care about this one. Okay, let's move on to happier news, shall we? Let's move on to That's Taupe. I was so excited to roll this one in because I was just so fed up of Modern Renaissance. I did this thing where I was rolling in companion palettes for the month, but I just realized that was just a distraction because I don't like this. I like it more now that I'm just panning Realgar and it's cooled down a little bit. I can do that, so don't worry, I'm not like hate panning, but this one was rolled in to kind of feed my cool tone needs, you know? And I've absolutely loved working on this. This is my kind of everyday palette, and I'm really happy that I decided to roll it in last month. So this is what it looked like last month. It wasn't a brand new palette by any means. It did definitely have some use on it, but it wasn't like super used and abused, you know? It was definitely still a newer palette in my collection, and I really, really loved it. I'd played around with it a few times, and I just thought, you know what? If I could pick a pan that palette, it would be this. I was actually waiting until the end of the year to roll this in. I wanted to start a new pan that palette at the start of the year, and then I just realized, why am I waiting? I might as well just roll it in now, and that's what I did. This is what it looks like today. No new pans, of course. I've only been working on it for a month, but I think I've already got some really good progress on this. I'm really excited about how this palette is looking with only 1 month of use. I don't know, what do you think? I think this is looking pretty good. I'm really proud of this. I think this is so good, especially the shade Pebble Beach. We'll talk more about it in a minute, but I've got really, really high hopes for this palette in the next year, going into 2025. I think this is going to be a really, really, really good pan that palette. So let's go through the usage. So the shade Boa, I've just been using as a lid setting shade. I should say as well, the start of this month, I was on holiday, and then the middle of the month, I had really bad insomnia. So some uses through the project pans this month may be a little bit lower, but I use this 13 times this month. There's a few brush strokes, but this is definitely a very firmly pressed shade, so I'm not expecting pan in the next few months at all, even though I am using it quite consistently. This is the only shade that I'm using as a lid setting shade, so it is my focus, and I just don't think it would be too much of an issue. It is slightly darker than my skin tone, but honestly, no one's going to notice, so yeah, I'm really happy about that. Next is Pebble Beach, and this shade is so loosely pressed. It is crazy. This is 1,000,000% going to be the first shade empty in this palette. You have to look at this and it'll just fly out. Honestly, it is actually crazy. I've only used this twice this month, and this is what it looks like. Sorry? I think I'm going to try and hit pan on this month. I think it'd be really, really easy to do, especially because it's so loosely pressed. It just flies out, and I think it's going to be a really, really good first pan. And if I can get a first pan in it before the start of 2025, that would be amazing. That would set us up incredibly. It's a really nice transition shade, a little bit warmer than the rest of the palette, but I like that. It's a nice little change. Sometimes if I'm not in a super cool tone mood, I can always dip into this one, and I'm really happy about the progress of this already. I'm definitely going to have pan so soon on this. Next we have Python. I have not used this month because I've been kind of looking at Rocksteady instead for my like cool toned needs. I think Rocksteady and Python might clash a little bit because they are very similar to each other. I don't know, we'll see. Next is my favorite shade. This is Slated. I am wearing this on my eyes today. I've used this 3 times this month and I've just loved it so much. It's so shimmery, so sparkly. It's not quite Ritz, but it's so stunning. I'm really, really happy that I have this in this palette because it makes me smile so much. It makes my neutral looks less like boring, I guess, more like glam. So beautiful. And yeah, 3 uses on this. Next is Snake Eyes. Now, I wasn't sure about these darker shimmers. I like a really, really light shimmer, but the shade Snake Eyes, I've actually really been enjoying. I've really liked playing with this. It's not so dark that it's like really smoky. It's more of like it matches my eyeshadow. It's not light, but it's not dark. It's somewhere in the middle. And I've actually used this 6 times, which is crazy. I was not expecting to use it that much, but I feel like I've got a little bit of a dip going in this. I feel like there's definitely a little bit of usage, which I'm really happy about. And I'm really happy that I'm getting use on this because I was really scared of this shade, but I'm really happy. It's nice. It works really well. And I'm really glad that I did get the confidence to try this shade a little bit. And I really like it. So I don't think that's going to be an issue either. Now, Cold Blooded, I've not used this month. I am scared of these 2 shades. They're just very, very dark. And I'm going to say if it gets to like mid 2025 or like end of 2025 and I'm trying to finish this palette, I'm going to let myself off with these 2 shades. If I don't manage to finish these 2 shades, that's fine. I'm going to say it now. They're not my jam. I don't really like them. So I've not used that at all this month. I'm not too surprised. Next, move on to Rocksteady. I've used this 2 times this month. I love this shade so much. This reminds me of Warm Taupe from Modern Renaissance, and I loved Warm Taupe so much. Like, I want it back, and I feel like I have kind of got it back with this. It is so pretty. My perfect cool tone taupe. This kind of shade is what I want to use every single day, and I'm really excited to work on it even more. I do have some slight brush strokes in it, nothing too serious. It's definitely more of a firmly pressed shade. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the progress goes. Constrictor, I've not used, way too dark. Bedrock, I have used 11 times this month. I normally use it in my brows. I've actually not done my brows today. I don't know why, I forgot, I guess, but I normally use it in my brows, but I do have another brow shade that I'm working on right now, so it's kind of been competing a little bit, but I do also use it on the outer corner as a deepening shade, and this definitely has a bit of a dip in it this month, which I'm so excited about. Again, if I can have pan on this before 2025, that would be incredible, that would be amazing. I'm really happy with this. This has made me dread pan that palette a bit less, because when I was working on this, I did not like this project. But now I'm happy. I'm happy now that I've got this to play with, and yeah, I have a smile on my face. Who'd have thought? So last month, this weighed 93.05 grams, and this month it weighs 92.94 grams, meaning in the past month we have lost weight, which is even better than this already. We have lost 0.11 grams. I'm happy with that. I think that's great for a first month with this. What do you think? What do you think? I'm so happy that I decided to roll this in. I'm so happy I didn't wait till the start of 2025 and just grit my teeth with Modern Renaissance. But I'm really happy with my progress. I'm really happy with my goals. I think if I can finish Realgar sometime soon, all of my problems will disappear. Again, I don't want it to sound like I'm hate panning this. Now that I've Frankened it, it's definitely a lot better. I just want this done. I think I've worked on it for so long that now it's like, okay, we need to hurry up now. But I feel a lot better now I know that I'm going to be Frankening this into the blush. I might actually do that before 2025. I am going to be doing a Franken video very soon, so honestly I might just do it then and then just have this. And then I might just put this as a single eyeshadow. I don't know. Let me know all your thoughts down below. So this is it. This is where I'm gonna love you and leave you today, guys. What did you think of the progress in this video? I think I've done really, really well. What do you think of That's Taupe? Let me know. Also, if you made it to the end of this video, let me know how you're doing on your projects. I always love to know. But with that being said, I'm gonna go. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will see you tomorrow for a brand new video. Bye-bye.